And so what I want to do is we spend a lot of our time talking to candidates and helping candidates go through job interviews, and especially the people here today that I've spoken to that are graduates and it's your first job and it's your first interview. It's quite a nervous experience. And so what I thought I'd do is put a bit of a survival guide together in terms of how to do well in an interview. And so I've done it in the form of snakes and ladders. So number one, do dress the part for the job. If you've noticed today, most of the people up presenting have had their own nice cool t-shirts and the likes, and you can actually see and hear and read a lot about what companies wear when they go in. And so, like, for example, if you turn up Candle, we don't actually wear suits in recruitment. We think it's quite old-fashioned and out of date. And so, if you come for a job with me and you wear a suit, instantly I go, shit, didn't you look, or didn't you research, and didn't you find out that we don't wear suits? Straight away, I'm instantly thinking, oh, he doesn't know much about our business. So dress the part for the job. And so whether that's, if you have to wear a suit and tie, wear a suit and tie and wear the best you can. Or, if you're going to wear casual, wear casual. If you can't, if you're at a job at the moment and you're wearing a suit and tie and you can't get to the interview and you can't do a Superman change beforehand, that's fine, but just let them know in advance. So that shows that you've made an effort to do that research. So do research in terms of how to dress the job. Number two, do make eye contact. This is a really simple one, I know. However, I interview so many candidates and I go, okay, so tell me about yourself. Okay, so I'm really confident. I like talking to people, and I go, what? I can't hear. So make sure you're looking at people. When you're in a panel interview, I know it's really nervous, but make sure you spend your time looking at everyone on the panel. And if someone's looking at you and someone's talking to you, engage with them. Show your eye contact. I can tell you right now, even anyone who's at a job interview, your hands are probably shaking like this. Just put them under the table and shake. But just put them away and make eye contact as best you can. It shows confidence. Number three, do be honest. I know it's really easy to be a liar at a job interview because, especially the best interviewers are narcissistic, crazy people because they have the best ability to lie and tell everyone how great they are. However, it's pretty easy these days to find out on social media that you do say fuck. Or that you've been on GitHub and we've checked and we've seen you do something. And so we can understand a lot about you. We read your LinkedIn profile online before we look at while we look at your CV. So if you've changed your roles, we'll know about it. Be honest, and sometimes the best things come from being honest and saying, you know what, I have no idea. I can give you an example of what I would do in that situation, however, I've never actually been there before. It's something I'd love to do, however. Or I've done a side project before, well, I might be able to talk to that, but I've never actually done it in work. So be honest. Number four, do have all your answers ready. It surprises me how many people don't prepare for interview questions. So if I ever go for a job interview, I become like Rain Man. My walls are filled with post-it notes of every single interview question that they could possibly ask me, and I try and have an answer prepared for everything, because on the day, you turn to shit, and you start thinking of everything. And so if you've prepared in advance what they might ask you, then it's chances that you've really got a really good answer ready on hand. So talk around with all your friends, go and ask people, ring people up and say, what type of interview questions do you get asked, and try and prepare an answer in advance. And if you don't know something, don't lie. And number five, do your research. I love it when someone comes to my business and I say, great, so what do you know about Candle? And they'll go, you guys have been around New Zealand for ages, you recruit people. And I go, oh yeah, cool. You don't wear suits? Oh yeah, cool, that's fine, we've got one. And man, everyone has this thing that's called a web page, right? And on that web page there's all these little words that put together in their sentence, and it tells you all about that company. We have a Twitter profile, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn profile, we have everything. And so you can find out a lot about me. My Facebook's open, so you can go and have a look who I am, what I am, and you'll see, I swear a lot. But you'll see a lot about me and who I am. You'll see a lot about the company. And so I can tell you right now, it's not good enough if you don't do your research. And it just shows that you're lazy and you're unengaged and not interested. Versus someone who might have 5 years less experience than you, but they know everything about trading, or they know everything about me, or they know everything about SAP. And so that you can show straight away that they're really engaged. Okay, we're going back down the chutes and ladders now. Don't ask about money. I love this one. Okay, great, yeah, nice to meet you, my name's Troy. Yeah, great, how much are you paying? I know there's times where they're sitting there and they're thinking, I think this is an appropriate time to talk about money. Hang on, I think he's just asking my name. Okay, not now. Why am I here? No, I'm here for a job, not money. It's not a good time. It's never a great time unless someone says, how much money do you want? You go, oh great, I can talk about it now. It's never the best time to talk about it. I can tell you right now, if you want to know about money desperately, ask before you go to the interview. 9 times out of 10 you're dealing with an internal recruiter or a HR or a recruitment company. ask beforehand if it's that important to you, and we'll tell you the bands. Or ask afterwards if you think it's a really great interview and you really need to know to help you make your job process. Ask afterwards, but don't ask at the interview, it just sours things. It could be going a really good conversation, a really good interview can be happening, and you go, so you're going to pay me 150k, even though I've just graduated from Auckland University, and I need a cell phone. Just don't ask. Don't be too relaxed. I actually have seen a few people wear, I call them thongs, but in Aussie, but jandals to job interviews and the likes. You know, if it's their corporate culture and everyone's wearing jandals, probably a good idea, don't might be smart. However, don't be too relaxed. I've seen people like rock their feet up on the next chair or lean right back down, and it's a job interview, number one. And so, you know, really be professional, be engaged, make sure you're sitting correctly, make sure that you're engaged with audience, don't slouch in your chair, don't fumble around and, you know, drop an F-bomb about what you're doing on the weekend, unless, you know, you ask what your favourite swear word is. But don't be too relaxed. Make sure that you're there. Make sure, I like to take people, be the chameleon, so adapt to the situation that you're currently in. Number 3, don't over-talk. Who's ever been in a job interview where they've asked you a question and then you've talked for about 10 minutes and then you go, did I even answer that question? And then you just sort of stand there awkwardly because you're like, I'm not sure if I answered that, but I'll just keep talking. And then so you just keep talking again. And then like we're just scrambling notes saying, this guy just won't shut up. And I'm not sure what he's talking about now, but it's got nothing to do with the original question. What the hell was that original question? I can't remember. So don't over-talk. Be concise. Usually, you know, 9 times out of 10 you've prepared your answer, so you know they're going to ask that question. So you've got a really good answer. And if you think that you may be over-talking, just stop yourself and say, I'm sorry, have I actually answered your question? Or, you know, would you like me to go back again? Or would you like me to, you know, re-answer that question? You know, be confident in your ability to answer the question. Don't wonk on for 10 minutes and not answer the question. Okay, number 4. Don't have your phone on. I heard a few phones ring today. I was going to shame someone if I saw them. Oh, hello, Simon. And when I say don't leave your phone on, I'll tell you what's even worse. When someone puts their phone on the table, really good answer, and you're going right through it, and then and they go, oh, hang on a sec. Oh, Mum wants me to get some dog food in the morning. And what were we talking about again? Oh, no. So turn your phone off, and really just get rid of it. Don't turn it on, and just put it in your pocket, and don't you'll fumble with it, and especially don't leave it on silent or on vibrate. And number 5, don't be late. It really pisses me off when people are late, and I think it pisses everyone off because, you know, you've made an agreement, okay, I'll meet you there at 10 o'clock, so be there at 10 o'clock. Now the best way to do that is the day before or that weekend, go and do a dry run. You know, go out and find out where that business is. There's some obscure little, you know, dead companies that I literally have to draw people maps and little diagrams and say, this is where you go when you get to, there's a guy standing on the jacket with a leather jacket and smoking a pipe, ask him where the way to go, and you know, you've got to know exactly where you're going. And so do a dry run, Google map it, go and do a drive-by and find out exactly where it is. Stalk them, you know, in terms of, hey, that's exactly where they are. And then leave plenty of time in advance, especially in Auckland. Traffic's shit here, you know, it's no Wellington, let's be honest. You know, it takes you a lot longer to get places here in Auckland, so really invest in getting there early. And because what you can do when you get there early is guaranteed you'll be freaking out, you'll be really nervous about the interview, is you can take that time to calm down. You can go and splash some water on your face, you can get there and go over your questions in your head, and spend that time, rather than freaking out on the bus because you're going to be late, in mentally preparing yourself for that job interview. And I think that's it. Guys, so that's my survival guide for a job interview. Has anyone got any questions at all? Over there?
Might be a silly one. But the thing is, I just wanted to ask in order to, for an example, I'm asking you precisely.
Yeah.
You shortlist the candidate, you screen the CV,
yeah.
and you think this guy is interesting. And what do you do, like, how long do you take to jump on the Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter profiles? What's the trend here in New Zealand?
So I guess when, as recruiters, right, we read your CV for about 6 seconds, obviously. Do last. Yeah, and then, so we get your CV, and once we've shortlisted, that's when I'll start going through and having a little bit more about you, because I want to have something, try and open you up in the interview. However, we have to write a profile on you when we send you across to our clients, and so if we can understand all about your personality, we'll go right across there. But it's not until we've got to that stage where there's an interaction going between you and I before I'll start stalking from the deals. Anyone else?
I currently work in IT myself. I work for telecom. I've been through probably about 3 or 4 roles there in my 4 years with telecom. And I still pretty much don't know what sector exactly I want to be in IT.
Yep.
Now, when you're going for a job interview or going into a company, is it okay to tell them that you are wanting to develop yourself into different areas and not just that one area that you're applying for the job at?
Yeah, I guess it's okay. However, you've got to remind yourself that when you're applying for a job, they need you for a skill set. And so you need to define what your skill set is. So it's different when you apply directly with a client when you apply through an agency. Obviously, we charge a fee for you, so we want to see that you'll have tangible skill sets in that space. And we don't have as much creative license to go off and look at all your other skill sets. However, I would suggest you probably already know what you like the most, you know, what you're leaning towards. And so go out and interview for that particular skill set and understand it and delve into it a lot more. And then you'll learn if that's what it is that you like. If not, try something else and interview for something else or research and find out of it. But I can say turning up for a vanilla interview and saying, hey, guess what? I don't know what I want to do. However, you got something cool? You know? There's less chances out in the marketplace for you.
Sure.
Cool. G'day.
Some ads read they say you will not be contacted if you're not successful, which is fine. But some people go for the interview and never hear from them again. That's quite rude.
So you've gone for an interview with us and never heard from us again? Oh, yeah, of course. I know. Yeah, that's shit. That's really shit. You know. Yeah.
Effort that the candidate has made.
Yeah.
And I just want to know your opinion on that because it's
I think it's really shit. Look, I think the minute I call someone, if I called you because you've sent me a CV, even the fact that I've called you, it's a relationship now. We have a relationship, and it's my duty to close off that relationship, good, bad, or indifferent. And so I believe in old school, abrasive, honest feedback for candidates. So I know when I'm a candidate, I want to hear if I did poorly, or if I did well, or if I want to, is it okay? And the hardest thing for agents is sometimes a lot of our hiring managers or clients go, she was alright. I won't hire her, she was alright, thanks. You know, and so we have to go, oh shit, what are we going to say? So I would just pick up the phone and say, hey look, unfortunately the feedback was, she was alright, but we're not going to hire her. And so I think in the recruitment industry, like some industries, it's the service industry, they're too scared to give you bad feedback or too unsure how to present that to you. And so it's shit, and I mean, you should call them out on it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think so.
Yeah, I would. I can tell you right now, if I applied for a job and went for the interview and they never called me back, I'd probably slag them off on Twitter too. Excellent. G'day.
What's your salary expectation? What's a good answer?
So if I'm the client and I say to you, what's your salary expectation?
Yeah.
So, and you just tell them what your salary expectation is. So if it's an open-ended question like that, you'll say, well, I'm looking for 85,000, or I'm looking for 95,000. Because you instantly know what you want. 9 times out of 10, if you're married, it's what your wife's told you before you got into the job interview. You know, this is what you need to change jobs. And so, be honest, you know, is my advice. And then they'll tell you straight back, man, that's too high for us, or yeah, that's okay with us. And so, you know, be completely honest. I mean, the reality is that it shouldn't be a negotiation in terms of salary getting the best, because you should want to work for the company. You should know in advance what the salary is, because you've obviously worked out what the things are on Seek at least, like clicking up and down going, oh, it's there, no, it's not there anymore, or picking up the phone and asking. But when it gets down to it, if they ask you, just be really honest. You know, 9 times out of 10 they'll say, great, yes or no. G'day, last one. See?
We've heard many examples of very innovative non-CVs,
Yep.
applications. As a recruiter, what do you think?
Oh, I love them. My CV's on passive, so my CV's on present. I think they're fantastic. You know, not that I'm looking for it, but I think they're really, really cool. And for me, I know straight away, the minute I get something like that, I open it up straight away because I'm excited to see what it is. And I love forwarding on that. I send a lot of creative CVs over at the moment just because I think it's cool when someone goes out of their way like that, and I really want to get them the job. And so it's hard for us as recruiters because we have to write this nice little profile and we change your CV with our branding over the top of it. And we can't do any of that stuff, but we can just send a nice email with it and say, hey, here's this guy, you know. And so I think it's a really good idea. But target it to your audience. And so I work in Wellington and in government, they'll be like, yeah, it's okay. You know, I know Paul's done some cool stuff with IRD, and they may think that's cool. But it's a target to your audience. Last one. Whoever yells out first, it's a race. Go.
What's the worst approach, the best approach from the candidate you've seen?
The best approach, I get a lot of stuff on Facebook and Twitter these days. I actually tweeted once that I said I was going to be at a bar catching on with a mate, and a candidate came out and said, "Hey man, I knew you were going to be here, so I was going to have a chat with you." And he bought me a beer, and yeah, he was a good guy.